So far we have done greatest common factor and factor difference of squares. But it's not always the case where we're going to have difference of squares or greatest common factor. We also have what we call the factor of a trinomial. Trinomial means three terms, okay? So whenever we have ax squared plus bx plus c, we have all three terms. We're not missing any of them. And then when a is equal to 1, okay? The only case that we're going to look at in the grade 11C is only when the case is equal to 1, the a value is equal to 1, okay? So you won't have any a values right here other than 1. It's always going to be 1. So when I have the three terms and they ask me to factor, always ask yourself, do I have a greatest common factor? This is always going to be the question that you're going to ask yourself. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. But when you're factoring, when they ask you to factor, the first question that has to come to your mind is, do I have a greatest common factor? If I look at these three terms, no, I don't, right? Because 1, 4, and 12, right? Greatest common factor is going to be 1. I don't factor 1 out. There's no reason for me to factor the 1 out. It's not going to make a difference. And it's not difference of squares, is it? Is it two terms with a minus between them? No, this is three terms. So the only option that I have right now is what we call the sum and product, okay? It is called the sum and product because I'm looking for two things, two numbers, two factors, that multiply to my last term and add to my middle term, okay? So you're always looking for this. You're looking for two factors, two factors of c, so two numbers that multiply to c, and also they have to add to b, okay? So remember that a, b, c, a, b, c, okay? So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply, so I'm going to write p for product, multiply to negative 12 and sum to, so I'm just going to write the whole word for the first time so you know what I'm writing here. So product negative 12 and sum of 4. That's why we have the green sheet, again, the front page of the green sheet, okay? If you look at this term, this says the b is positive or negative. Is b positive or negative? Is c positive or negative? Negative, okay? So I'm looking here, b is positive, c is negative. So b is positive, c is negative. That means I'm looking at the last, the row before last, okay? So when I'm looking for my factors, my large number is going to be positive and my small number is going to be negative, okay? So give me two numbers that multiply to 12. So you guys said 3 and 4, and I heard 2 and 6. What else? 12 and 1. Okay? Now, these are what multiplies to 12. We said that the biggest one is going to be positive, and the small one is going to be negative. Okay? Now, what do these sum to? This adds to what? This adds to what? This adds to what? So which one of these add to 4? So that means this is my answer. Okay? So that means my factors are the negative 2 and the 6. You see I had three options here. Okay? Which option is the one that's correct? We decide that whatever adds to the middle term. Okay? So I know that my factors are negative 2 and 6. Okay? So now what is going to happen? I didn't write this. I could have wrote this here, but I don't have too much room and I don't like to be restricted, so that's why I wrote it on the side. So basically my factors are going to be x minus 2, x plus 6. Doesn't matter if you wrote x plus 6, x minus 2. Doesn't matter which one you write first, okay? As long as you have the correct sign for the right term. Okay? So I'm looking for two terms, two numbers that multiply to C and they add to B. I'm going to use a green sheet to help me to decide which one is positive, which one is negative, and I will factor.
So we are allowed to use
Yes. Yes.
so easy.
Mm-hmm. Depends on the level, right? Are we okay with that? All right. So let's look at this one. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to what and add to what? So product is 12, sum is 8. What multiplies to 12? So add to 7, add to 13, add to 8, which means my factors are 2 and 6. I'll write it as x plus 2, x plus 6. Remember that in this case, both C and B and C, they're both positive. So that means both my factors are going to be positive, right? Pick one so we can do it together, and I'll give you the rest to do. Last one. Okay. X squared minus 13x plus 22. What am I looking for? Multiply 222 and add to what? So, B is what? B is negative and C is? So which one is it? So both of them are going to be negative. What multiplies to 22? 11, negative 11 and negative 2. Negative 22 and negative 1. If you already found your factor, you don't have to list all of them. Okay? What's negative 11 plus negative 2? And then this is going to be negative 23. Which one is my answer? So, x minus 11, x minus 2. Clear? Questions? Are we good? Okay. Do these four, and then you have your homework page.